Nichols, and welcome to home.
Who's going to break Hayesmith's world title?
These two go.
Itchy Hoy is going to do it. His first victory.
The World Championship is done. What a race it's been.
Hello everybody and welcome to the FSR VCO World Championship for round number 7 here from Monza. We're coming towards the end of another great season and we take our chances now at the Temple of Speed, the third last round of this season. It doesn't quite have such the high speed that it used to, this circuit, but much of its character remains. The big braking zone into the chicanes really characterise this circuit in the modern day, and it's still a very challenging race for all of the drivers. Over the course of the FSR season so far, it's been about staying in the slipstream, DRS and all of those games, but that is not going to go away by any means here today. It's going to be a very, very interesting race indeed for 53 laps over the course of the Italian Grand Prix. Welcome along, everybody. My name's Ewan O'Leary. I'm alongside Cameron and Roger here for this broadcast this evening, and we're very excited for this one, Cam. We've got a close championship on the line. We've got a great circuit and a very tactical race ahead of us.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one. Of course, we have the resurgence of Colin Spork winning the previous 2 races. He's really coming for the likes of Jordan and Simracing at the top of the championship. So it's going to be a very interesting race because, of course, at the end of this race, there's only going to be 60 points left on the table, which is starting to get to that squeaky bum time. And this race is going to be very important with how the championship looks after this race.
Absolutely. It is 53 laps around here for the race at Monza, the 7th round of the FSR VCO World Championship for 2023. We'll go to Suzuka at the start of October, which precedes our finale at beautiful Interlagos. We're very much looking forward to having that one back, because where else would you have a championship finale? That's the rest of our schedule here for this season. It's a bit of a reduced schedule, but it's been not short on action by any means over the course of this season. So we've very much enjoyed it so far. Let's have a look at the points just before we go into qualifying here, because we're not far away from the session beginning. Jene Simracing leads by 13 points over Dennis Jordan, who took a bit of a hit and has taken a couple of hits actually in the last couple of rounds after his couple of wins early on in the first half of the season. Jake Dennehan is still consistently running in third after his opening round win back at Bahrain. And Colin Spork, as Cam just alluded to there, is on a bit of a resurgence. The top 4 ahead of the rest, really, with David Brocek there in 5th, looking to help himself and Jene Simracing to a team's title this season, possibly. Petr Birliak looking to keep Alpine Esports in that race as well from 6th. Alex Siebel with his first non-top 10. Don't know, I just better say that. First time outside the top 10, I think is better. For more than 3 years in the FSR VCO World Championship. Yannick Bock, Adam Maguire and Jonas Braxuk round out the top 10. So we move forward into qualifying in a moment. Cam, excuse me. And it was a surprise, I've got to say, when I was looking at the results from the last couple of rounds, and not only to see the resurgence of Colin Sport, which is, I think, less of a surprise. The biggest surprise to me was seeing Alex Siebel finish in 19th place in a race. That hasn't happened for more than 3 years, and he'll be very disappointed that that run of top 10s that he was cherishing so much is unfortunately gone away, and he's going to take quite some time for him to build that kind of run up again.
One of the things that Alex really sort of did well in the last couple of years was the consistency, not just in this championship, but other championships as well. That's his main trait. So let's see how this one goes. That is not the racing line. Get back on the track. There we go. Look at the screen just before working his way up to start. This qualifying session is going to be tight as ever because there's really only 6 corners around this track. So there's not too many opportunities for differences between the drivers, and Alex Siebel especially. He was one of those drivers who struggled a little bit in the qualifying last time, got caught up in some incidents in that lap 1, which is also an issue here with that very tight braking zone into the first chicane.
You mentioned that there's not very many corners around here, but do you buy into the idea that Monza is an easy circuit as a result? Because I personally think in qualifying it's one of the hardest, because there are so few places to make your time, and you get a lot of pressure on yourself when you're going into these chicanes.
I agree. It's difficult. These chicanes, look at those big anti-cuts. You're trying to avoid them. You're trying to get to the absolute limit of the track on the left-hand side as well. Let's look into Lesmo 1. How wide is Simracing going to go? All the way up towards all, not even quite onto the second curb. And once again, how wide does he go? Again, just using those curbs. You've got to go millimetre perfect to not get the car bouncing around. The momentum onto the straights is so important. If the car's bouncing, you're not accelerating. The energy is going vertically, not in a straight line, and therefore you're going to be losing some time through Ascar as well, trying to get as close to flat out as possible. Get on the push to pass down the back straight.
These cars so quick. We're expecting times to be in the low 120s. Maybe, Cam was speculating before the broadcast, we could see a high 19 here from one of the top contenders who might be able to take pole in the World Championship here this evening. Joni Simracing is going to be one of the last drivers to actually come across the line here, but he will punch in a good time. You can bet about that. And already into the 19s. Wow, he just about makes it. Only 3 thousandths below, of course, but that is a benchmark for the others to beat.
Certainly is. And look who's right next to him on the front row as it stands. Colin Spork, winner of the previous 2 races. And he said in the interviews after the race, he is absolutely pushing for this. But as it stands, he is 25 thousandths of a second off Simracing. Simracing will be loving that one, getting inside the 19s on that first lap. And we'll now have a couple more opportunities. You've got enough time for 3 laps around here. Let's see what they can do. A couple of drivers starting their laps as well. And somebody's actually just gone in the pit lanes. Adam Maguire. So R8G are back. They've had a couple of races off after their double DNF in Silverstone. They are back. They've signed Martin Mergley, who's moved over from Visceral to replace Liam Duval. And the 2 of them are now going to have a bit of a resurgence. They were up there at the top of the championship in the first couple of races, but they've now dropped down to 5th after missing the last 2.
Yeah, Mergley's looking great, actually. 4th place in the opening times there. Still over 5 minutes to go, and don't forget, we don't have the limit on lap times anymore, or lap numbers, if you like, in qualifying in FSR anymore, at least not for 2023 anyway. So you can do it as many times as you want, and they will do around this circuit, which is relatively short. But you mentioned there that Spork is, targeting the defence of his world title here, and I mean, that's absolutely correct. We were commentating on the, well, you weren't, Cam, but I was on the Virtual Endurance Championship at this very circuit a couple of weekends ago. And Colin Sport wasn't even driving there because his focus is solely on the VCO World Championship here this season and his defence of it. And that just shows how much commitment he's putting into it, because he couldn't even afford his team a stint or 2 in the Virtual Endurance Championship. And he won't be able to in a few weekends' time either, when the next race will be just 6 days after the next round of this championship. So for the next couple of rounds of the VC season, he won't be competing because of this very title. He's really focusing on his title defence.
He certainly is, and that's what we like to see, though, is a really hard-fought championship, and it's working well. His teammate, Peter Burlak, though, down in 11th place, almost half a second off. He had pretty decent qualifying last time out, but the rest of the season he has struggled a little bit. Let's see what Sport can do now on this lap. Remember, no DRS this year. As you see, the rear flap is not opening. No DRS zones here at Monza. So just the hybrid push pass to be used. But once again, you have 55 seconds per lap available deployment. And of course, because of all the straights here, you don't have enough seconds. So you have to turn the push to pass off at the end of the straights to make sure you don't run out coming out of the final corner.
We'll go into the tactics in the race with regards to push to pass a little bit more later on, as Colin Sport does go quickest in the first sector. Purple, oh, that's a big slide on the way out of the Della Roggia, and that is the end of that. He wasn't wasting any time there. He knew immediately that he wasn't going to set the fastest time. Joni Simracing might well do, though. He's got only just over 3.5 minutes. It's going to be quite tight for making a 3rd and final attempt at this for Simracing, but he might not need it. He's gone purple in the first sector. Now he backs out of it. Well, neither of them particularly pleased with their second time.
Very interesting. Both set purple times. And after just one chicane more of driving, they backed out of it. That just shows you how close the margins are. If you've seen your delta that you go half a tenth down, they will know whether they can make that up because they are so on the limit of what they can do in these cars. And of course, Jan Brakshock not too far off, just a tenth behind. He's at a pole position this season, but unfortunately has generally dropped back in the race with some wrong strategy. Let's see what he can do today. On the practice server a few hours ago, he actually, I think he did an 18.9, so a second faster, but that was with some slipstream from a friend. I don't think we're going to be getting to that, but he's certainly feeling confident and trying to put some scaring thoughts into the other drivers.
I'm still waiting for the day when I can say Jonas Brakshock is an FSR World Championship race winner, because the day has been it's been teetering on the edge of coming for quite some time, I've got to say, and we've still not quite got there. Last season had a couple of podiums, was even second at the Japanese Grand Prix. No podiums this season, unfortunately, because as you say, he's qualified a lot better than he's raced this season, unfortunately, but he does have 5 podiums to his name in FSR World Championship history, and still waiting for the day when he can get that win. Great qualifier though, Jonas Brakshock, and he has 4 pole positions already. Looking for another one here, just over a tenth down on Joni Simicic so far, and he does a personal best in the first sector, but he's a lot smoother through the chicane than Simicic and Sport were on their previous lap times.
Let's see how much risk he wants to take. That's quite a lot in the first. Let's know what about the second one, getting it down into the apex, using all the road. That was nice, and getting the momentum onto this back straight. Just effectively 2 corners to go. If you see you're up on your delta, then it's very scary coming into this highly committed Ascari chicane. How much you want to do? Purple in the middle sector for Brakshock now as he comes up to the Parabolica. Good exit onto the back straight as well.
Let's see if he can pull it out the bag. We said that it might require a 1:19.9, maybe a 19.8 if you can manage it here to get on pole for the Italian Grand Prix. Well, it's going to be a very, very tall order for everybody here, but Jonas Brakshock may well have just done it. It's a wonderful lap from the looks of it. What's the time going to be? Oh, it's just as wonderful. A 19.8 for Jonas Brakshock, and he goes to the top of the tree. 1/10 ahead of Simicic and Spork, who now have a lot of work to do and a real rabbit to pull out of the hat here. Colin Sport can't even improve on his personal best in the first sector, and it was a scruffy second chicane as well.
This is going to be very difficult. Of course, it's still a front row for Simicic as it stands. Third place for Spork is not too bad. But if they want to get that pole position, they want to be leading in towards turn 1, they need to do something in these final few sectors. Second sector coming up just as we go under the bridge. What is Spork going to be doing in towards Ascari? Can he do anything? No, he can't. He's down in the middle sector as well.
Joni Simicic hasn't even started his final lap time just yet, by the way, and he will just about get round in time, but he's going to be the last one to possibly jump over Brakshock, maybe Dennis Jordan as well, who's got purple in the first sector, but surely it's not going to be our 2022 world champion. He's struggling here. He backs off through the Parabolica. It's going to be inside of the second row at best for the Alpine Esports driver. He pulls into the pit lane full of disappointment. Time now elapses. There's Joni Simicic. He's making his way around the Curva Grande. Dennis Jordan is making his way towards Ascari. He's going quite quickly right now. Can he get ahead of Colin Spork, maybe?
Yeah, Jordan, just 1 corner to go now in towards Parabolica. It's so difficult, that final corner, if you want to be holding on to that. But Simicic, he's also down that first sector, as you say, but it's still a solid one with a 0.7. But Jordan, he's got a 0.6 in that first sector. What can he do out of the final corner? He's trying to challenge Simicic for the championship. Can he get ahead on the grid here at Monza? Yes, no, not quite third place. I thought he just got it. In the end, he gets off the lead.
So close. 25 thousandths separate second to fourth at the moment. 3 championship contenders covered by a very small margin, and Joni Simicic doesn't look like he's going to get away from that. Jonas Brakshock looks like he's going to take pole here at the Italian Grand Prix as Joni Simicic makes his way into the Parabolica for the final time. Surely even he can't perform this kind of miracle, because it really would have to be out over the line now for the 3-time world champion. He can't improve. Wow, it was a good final sector, but it wasn't good enough. It was only 6 thousandths slower than his previous best, and that was Jake Dennehan doing a very interesting trip over the line there. He's 6th alongside Devin Mroczek for the Italian Grand Prix. What a qualifying session that was. But it's Jonas Brakshock who takes pole, his 5th in FSR VCO World Championship history. And what a lap it was from him as well. A 1:19.8 is just unachievable for most people, but Jonas Braksuk can do it, and he's taken pole by just over a tenth at Monza.
8 and a bit tenths covering the top 25 drivers, which is all but Jukapeka Lalu being just over a second outside. So really close lap times as you would expect here at Monza, and even half a second covering the top 13. Awesome scenes. It's going to be a very tight race. It's going to be so difficult, so tense for these drivers. And we've got all of the top drivers in the championship up towards the front as well. Simicic, Jordan, Spork, who really are the ones fighting for it. But then, of course, Denahan as well. They are all inside the top 6. Let's see how this race goes.
We just do not know what way this race is going to go. And let's just talk a little bit about the race and the difficulties that they're going to have. You mentioned earlier, Cam, that first of all, the times are going to absolutely skyrocket in terms of the actual lap times. We could lose 5 seconds a lap in terms of race pace compared to what we've just seen. It could look very slow compared to that qualifying that we've just had that was absolutely breathless, but also there's going to be a lot of management going on over the course of the race. You're going to have to manage your energy because while there's no DRS here, there will be a lot of slipstream. You will have to use a lot of the electrical energy that's been introduced to FSR for the first time in 2023. But there's a lot of straights around here, as we all know, and not very many places where you can actually recover energy.
Yeah, so the main issue with this track is you have 4 long straights, but you don't have that many braking zones in comparison for the length of the amount of deploying that you need to do. You don't have the same amount of regen, and the issue with that is basically that you won't basically be able to stick behind something. You won't be able to use that push to pass, but we'll get to that in a few moments' time.
Let's have a look at the grid for the Italian Grand Prix then, shall we? Because the race for 53 laps is about to get underway very shortly. Jonas Braksuk and Jiri Simicic will be on the front row together with Dennis Jordan and Colin Spork on row 2. What a lineup that is inside.
Good luck, guys. Good luck, okay?
Thanks.
Okay.
Log building finished.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, the race is as expected. A big, long train. But Bradshaw is still P1 and he usually struggles on tires, so it might get interesting soon. Oh. Or maybe even now. Oh, someone overtook Bradshaw. Okay. That's where everyone is pushing now. Oh no, Rajok still P1, never mind. It's a lapped car. Good thing is that the gap to P10 is extending, so only Peta that could undercut me, realistically. Okay, now Williams is in P10. Maybe he has better pace. I think Yana now went for the move.
Did I touch him? No, he did on his own, right?
It's fun.
We'll check, head down. All on his own, mates. Head down, head down.
Copy.
Okay, Yana now in P1. Surely he's gonna push.
This is so dangerous with this early braking.
Oh, Briljak already in, I guess. Chuck in, Spork in as well.
Eta
And
also
we
pitted early, was in the strain. Or
Yes, at the back.
I will do one more. I will pit the slip.
Charlie Dennis.
What?
Charlie.
I would still like to pit.
Yeah, copy.
Yeah, I'm gonna get these undercuts anyway, but then there is a gap, so extending these 2 laps shouldn't cost me much.
What tires does Janne have?
Hearts.
Copy.
Only Mitchie on mediums.
Is anyone else on mediums except Michi?
No.
So what will happen in the last stint is that Michi gets an undercut on all of us. Will be likely in front. And then it will be mayhem in the last stint. Maybe the mayhem starts now already. Yeah, Michi must pit anytime soon. 20 laps to go. Oh, Colin. That was close. 15 laps on the mediums is not easy. I think Petter got held up in the pits because he is now 8 seconds behind Spork. Okay.
You're in a pitch request?
I will also pit.
Okay, you're gonna be behind
I know,
Mitchie.
I know. Yeah.
So my hope is now that they will lose a lot of time when overtaking Michi, who is on hards, and then I can easily close the gap and have the freshest tires in the end, hopefully. That gap is big. My strategy out the window. Michi spun. Ah, he doesn't have any front. Oh, shit. Okay, David is fighting with them. Maybe they will lose time. Guess David is now going for it. Maybe not. Now it gets tough. They will work together.
Good job, guys. Well done.
Good job.
Good job.
Ah,
Man, that's
so close.
slipstream. Doesn't matter how fast you are. I was so much faster.
Ah,
Really
Did
good
Mitchie
recovery,
spin?
Alex. Well done.
did Mitchie spin or got he spun?
To be honest, I don't know. I didn't. When?
Yeah, like somewhere in the last stint, because I hoped for him to hold up the train with his old hearts. Like, and as soon as I said that, I saw him spinning.
Yeah,
And then
he
my
crashed
strat
with.
was out the window.
He went side by side with Spork, and then he crashed with Janos.
No, okay.
Janos P14.
Yeah, he lost front wing.
Yeah,
Poor
not his
guy.
fault this time.
I think he would have finished there without it.
Nah,
Don't say it. He was
I
good.
think he was fine in the first 1.5.
I don't know. Third lap of the stint, and he was only counter steering in the corners. Was so obvious that he was not gonna make.
On to Suzuka.
Oh man. If they would have lost a little bit more time somewhere, but David made it so clean. I hope that they would tangle a little bit more, and then I would have had a shot on Jake. But yeah, this one attack from Brilliak in the first stint, I lost half my battery there. And then my race was pretty much compromised.
He did good. P5 is great. E5 is great, mate.
Unlucky. So yeah, well, 10 seconds. Where did you guys, Dennis, gain so much? I think Jake suffered with tires at the end of second stint already.
At some point we just had enough of Prague shock, so we started to do our pace, and it took 2 laps, and we were
Copy.
4 seconds away.
Copy.
He was quite slow.
And that
Well,
helped me out quite a lot. But well.
Dennis, we need those famous interviews from you now.
Let's see.
Dennis, remember the media trainings? Connection lost already. So already shut down. Yeah, unfortunate. If Brilliak wouldn't have attacked, race would have been much easier. Because when I was right 7/10 behind David at the end of the second stint, he just could use all of his battery, which I didn't have.
User was moved out of your channel.
And that made the difference in the end. Yeah, but overall, I'm happy with the result. P5 is the best. Maybe P4 was in it, but all the other guys were faster than me. And with limited practice, P5 from starting P9, I think. So I'll take it. Unlucky that Dennis didn't win. But yeah, Yanni, I don't know, maybe just too smart or whatever. But Yanni is just too good. P2 and P5, yeah, I mean, Burst extended the championship gap because David finished P4, Yanni P1. Yeah, what can you do? But yeah, right after my first stint, I thought I went way too long. I wanted to pit in the lap that Dennis pitted, but yeah, obviously he is in front, so I have to extend. And then yeah, during the race, it looked like it will be tough until the end. But luckily, Jake and also Colin suffered with tires with their 15 lap stints in the end. So I could catch up and at least gain one spot. Better than none. But yeah, the next race is in, oh, it's a big gap, I think. 3 weeks? 3 weeks now again. Next race is Suzuka, the penultimate round of the season. And I'm obviously gonna be there as well, gonna stream on the Ferrari Esports Twitch channel as well. So thanks guys for watching and see you guys in 3 weeks.
Is stream over, Alex?